All right, I'm back. So I've got white all the way to black, passing through every single hue that I possess on my palette, going in a column, okay, or initiating a row, and then at the very top of each column, I have those same colors in the same order, okay? So what I want you to do is this. One, remember, I want you to approach this with an inquisitive eye and mind, kind of anticipating to see something new that you didn't expect to see. Okay, if you go into a project like that, then it's going to be a process of discovery, like a journey to a place you've never been before. Okay, so first we're going to go by rows. Okay, so at the top here is white. I'm going to start with white. You don't need a lot. Okay. So I'm going to progressively mix. With this white, I'm going to mix just a little bit of cadmium yellow and see what happens. Okay. And then that cadmium yellow, sorry, that white with a little bit of cadmium yellow, just a touch. Okay, we'll go here. White, cadmium yellow. My next step, I'm still going with different whites. What happens with this white if I mix a little bit of yellow ochre? Just a little bit, okay? So still this color is mostly going to be, it's going to be more white than anything. Clean brush. Now the key to this is not rushing, not skipping steps. Okay, so this is white plus the yellow ochre on the top. Make sure that your edges between all of these colors touch. Otherwise it's going to be difficult to interpret and understand what's going on. Okay, clean my brush. Okay, what I actually might end up doing, I'm going to put, this is what I'm going to do. First, I'm going to get a clean palette knife. I'm going to put all these mixtures kind of underneath where they go on the palette. That'll make it a little easier. So I'm going to try it this way. I'm going to put a little bit of white under each color, because I'm going to be mixing each color with the white. White, Viridian, and then black and white will be over here. All right, so now I'm going to mix my burnt sienna, just a smidge, with that white. You're going to come up with your own method. Just need a smidge. Technical word, smidge. Cad red light, mix that in with the white. Y'all can kind of see where this is going. Take your time. So this little assignment serves so many different functions. One, like it's getting you practice, like visualizing where all the colors are on the on the palette rather, is so much experience and practice with using the palette knife and mixing. Your eye is getting practice seeing different relationships between colors. Kind of individually, one color plus another color, but then seeing the relationships between, you know, that color and other colors that we're about to mix in the future. It's also getting you acquainted with each individual hue. You know, so something that all of these colors that I've just mixed in this line, something they have in common is white. And so then if we can look at their similarities, let's see, if we can look at their similarities, then that gives us some insight into what is the nature of white paint, or specifically titanium white. All right? So my method will be, I'm going to do all my mixing for each row, do all the whites. Okay, got that one. Then I'll clean my brush in between. Oh, I've already done that one. Again, as I mix things on the palette, you know, those colors are distinct from each other. They're kind of islands, and they're kind of in their own little separate scenarios. They're surrounded by the white of the palette. Okay, that's an interesting color. That color looks kind of like peachy or orangey, and it's a little bit brighter than what I would have expected. Okay, and the white and the umber, it's very kind of gray, very dull color. Make sure your edges are touching. We are not pursuing perfection here. I'm just using the size of this brush kind of to my advantage. But yeah, another function of this color grid is that it's going to be a good reference for you. Like when you're trying to figure out, like, how the hell do I mix this color or that color, or the case will most of the time be how I can't even see that color. You'll see, like, especially with a subject that's just really perceptually challenging, you know, like a transparent object that has so many different values of color and so many different color values, so much going on there. It's hard to see what the colors are sometimes because your brain is working so hard to understand what the object is. So this will be a really good reference, almost like little color swatches. It's even better than color swatches though, because you mixed them. So you're actually like seeing each color change slightly into the color that you're mixing, and that's gonna that's gonna create a little moment in your memory, right? You not only understand like what the color is, what the result is, but how it is affected by the color you're mixing in with it. I may need a little bit more of this color. No, I think that's good. So yeah, that's really interesting. The cerulean blue and the ultramarine blue are super similar in value. So really the biggest difference is just temperature. Okay, then the sap green mixture. Notice how all these look kind of like Easter, little Easter eggs. They're so pale. So what I'm noticing is that when there's mostly white in something, it totally desaturates the color. Not totally. It significantly desaturates the color in addition to lightening it, of course. So it changes the value. It also changes the saturation. It cools it off too, so it also changes the temperature. And here's white with black. We know exactly how that will be affected. So look at that. It actually kind of looks like there's a piece of tracing paper or something laying over this. Very, very interesting. Okay. So then I'll go to the next row, and then the next one and the next one. I'm going to do this next row. At least start it before stopping the video, just to clarify something. So I'm going to start with the cadmium yellow this time. And remember, all of these mixtures on this row of cadmium yellow, they're going to be mostly cadmium yellow. I'm only adding a little bit of the other color to them. So this color that I mix between cadmium yellow and white, it is not going to be the same exact color as the one I mixed between white with a little bit of cadmium in it, okay? So there's nothing really redundant about this. Okay? So let's see. What goes there? Just going to do the same thing. I'm just going to put a swab of cad yellow underneath each pure hue on the palette. It's just going to keep me aware of where I am, what I'm mixing. Here we go. Okay. So a little bit of white, but not a lot. cooled it down a little bit and lightened it. I don't know if y'all can see this. Maybe there we go. I'll try to do it this way. Okay. Okay, cad yellow plus cad yellow is cad yellow. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of this yellow ochre. The yellow ochre is going to change. I greened it out a little bit. Interesting. Sienna. Quite rosy. Looks like sienna is kind of operating a little bit more like a red. A little bit of umber. What? This is so interesting. This is definitely looking like green. So think about that for a second. What the heck? Yellow and this kind of brown, and it begins to make a little bit of green. It's because this brown is cooler, much cooler. It's a little closer to the blues than it is to the yellows or the reds. Okay. So cad red, cad yellow. Get ready for some excitement. Holy moly. Your cadmium colors are some of your most intense. Okay. Alizarin crimson. I think I mixed a little bit too much in there. Yikes. A little bit more of that. Okay. That's better. Ultra blue, ultramarine. Kind of greeny green. Isn't this cool though? So we've got these reds and it's turned into a green, and those are opposite, right, on the color wheel. But again, like all of these colors, even though they're changing hues slightly, they all have something in common. They're all harmonious with each other. So this is something to keep in mind. You're trying to create a color palette that has a lot of harmony or unity. Maybe there's a little bit of yellow in every single color, even if it's, the hue is green or blue or purple. Mixing a common denominator into every pile of paint is a great way to maintain harmony. Oh, look at all these greens. Love it. All a little bit different. Can't wait to see them side by side. Okay, then Viridian. Looks like a sour green to me. And this is one of my favorites to mix. Okay, black, little tiny bit of black with yellow. Can y'all see this down here? Yeah. That black is so strong in it. Look how green that turns. It's a darker green, but it's kind of greeny. Very interesting. Okay. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to keep this video going just for a second while I put in this row, and then after that I will. There we go. After that, I'll stop the video because I think that y'all will be able to intuit the rest. Okay, so this is the cadmium. Just a smidge of white, and only changed it very slightly. Probably because the yellow, cadmium yellow, is already very light. Okay, plain cad. Cad and cad makes cad. Cadmium yellow, that is. Yeah. Make sure you're cleaning your brush between swatches. Otherwise, you're not going to get a sense for the colors. Okay, cad yellow plus yellow ochre. Very cool. Get some fresh towels. So look at all these beautiful colors. We've only gone through 2 hues. And look at all these incredible colors. So now we know like all of these colors have a relationship to each other, and also all of these colors have a relationship to each other, but also all of these both of these colors have something in common as well. So like, this is another way to think about harmony. All right, under the sienna, this is also kind of rosy looking to me. It's kind of beautiful. Gosh, look at that. Color is like the best thing. Oh my god, it's the best. It's like a playground for your eyes. It's so awesome. And once you look, it's so crazy that it made that color. Once you start looking for differences in color, subtle or dramatic, you will start seeing color. I mean, color everywhere. Color in places that you never even thought to think about color. The sky and a cloud and a shadow. There's no such thing as just an achromatic anything in our visible world. There's no such thing. So everything is chromatic. White, pure quote unquote white is chromatic. It's made up of other pigments. I should have mixed a little bit more of these two pigments. There we go. It's okay. Look how bright that got. Bouncing off the surface. So again, the value of this is like being able to see all of these colors together in relationship to each other. Like, it doesn't matter if you never paint again. Doing it this way in a hands-on way, it becomes a kinesthetic. That is like a spatial, a tactile, as well as a visual way to remember these interactions, because color, it's a daggum visual element, y'all, right? Like, it's not going to go away because you're not painting. If you're in graphic design, interactive design, if you're in lighting design, certainly even ceramics, sculpture, you're never just making a decision about a hue. Should this be a red ball or a blue ball? Or should it be, orange on the underside or purple? You're not, because even within each hue, there is so much variation. There's so many things to explore. One of my little pet peeves is if I ask somebody, like, what color are you thinking about? And they only answer in terms of a hue. Well, I'm thinking about red. That actually doesn't tell me anything. Red, what kind of red? Tell me what temperature of red? What intensity of red? Bright red, dull red, dark red, light red, somewhere in the middle. So color is not the same as hue. Hue is just one little characteristic of hue. Hue is one characteristic of color. Okay, this is a sap green. It's pretty beautiful. I can't wait to see all these greens side by side. This cadmium yellow row is starting to look a lot like my grandmother's kitchen growing up. That green looks like it's lit from behind, doesn't it? And then this green, which is from the yellow and the black. It's like an army camo kind of green. Crazy. Right, I think that y'all get the gist. Okay? So I'm just going to go line by line by line. This is going to take a while. It's just how it is. It's going to take a while. But the way that you will really enjoy it is by staying very much in the moment, very mindful. Again, take note. Take note of the colors that are just like, whoa. You can write them. You can, write some little notes up here or to the side. or if there's one that's, you know, a certain row or column that's blowing your mind, you know, put a little star by it, because I can't wait to talk about that. I can't wait to hear what you think. This is also going to kind of teach y'all the value, pun not intended, the value of how you lay out your palette, right? So we're going to be mixing so many colors, and you got to have some sort of system on your palette for them all to have a place. So for this assignment, because we're just using this palette paper, it's not quite as big as a giant glass palette. You might have to use 2 sheets, which is fine. You know, when you fill up one, you just, you know, grab your pure paint, put it at the top of the next one, and keep on going. Good luck with this. I can't wait to see it. Bye.